You know, it's always great when someone just asks, okay, how do I start? We saw this comment from the real slick Goku on YouTube asking exactly that. How to start training in general.
Yeah, it's a super common question and a really important one.
Exactly. It's where it all begins, right? So for anyone listening who's feeling that, who's ready to take that first step, well, that's what this deep dive is all about today.
hmm Think of this as like your starter pack. We're digging into a really helpful video, how to start training simple guide, and pulling out the absolute essentials.
The key stuff.
Yeah, the key stuff. So you get a clear plan, something you can actually do without feeling totally lost or, overwhelmed.
Right. And the video breaks it down nicely into two main areas, getting your basic health sorted first and then building muscle. So let's start with health. First up, and maybe the most crucial, sleep.
It really is. And what's interesting is the video actually suggests aiming for like 9 hours a night.
9.
Yeah, 9. Now, it does say 7 or 8 are still good, definitely beneficial. But aiming for 9 really underlines how fundamental sleep is. It's not just about feeling awake.
No, it's recovery, hormones, all that background stuff.
Exactly. It's when your body actually does the repair work. Everything else you do, eating well, training it, works better if you're getting enough sleep.
Totally. You can't really out-train bad sleep, can you? Okay, so sleep is foundational. Let's move on to what we eat. Nutrition. The video seems to pick one thing to really zero in on at the start.
Spot on. It's all about protein. The recommendation is pretty clear. Try to get a decent protein source in every meal you eat.
Every single meal.
Things like meat, pork, beef, chicken, turkey, duck are mentioned, eggs, fish. It briefly touches on vegan options, but the main focus is on those. Especially, if you're younger, still growing, protein is just essential.
It's the building blocks, basically.
Exactly. When you train, you create tiny bits of damage in your muscles, and protein is what your body uses to repair and rebuild them stronger. So yeah, every meal.
Makes sense. It's not just a side thing, it's core. Now, besides adding protein, the video also talks about removing stuff. The phrase used is pretty direct. Cut the crap.
Yeah, it is blunt, but it's good advice. Basically, it means cutting back on or cutting out those unnecessary snacks. The crisps, chocolate, biscuits, cookies, that kind of thing.
The easy-to-grab stuff that doesn't offer much.
Right. Focus on solid, whole food meals instead. It's about swapping empty calories for stuff that actually nourishes you, connects back to health, and maybe managing weight, too.
So less mindless snacking, more actual meals. And it's not just snacks, is it? It mentions other things, too.
Yeah, exactly. It also flags up those high-calorie extras we sometimes add without thinking, like piling on mayonnaise or, loads of cheese.
Oh, the sneaky calories.
It's just about being a bit more mindful. Not saying you can never have cheese, but maybe not looting it onto everything, just being aware of where those extra, maybe less useful calories are coming from.
Right, those little additions add up fast. Okay, what about drinks? Liquid calories are a big topic usually.
Yeah, and the video hits on this too. Basically, avoid drinking your calories. It specifically calls out things like sugary fruit juices and those fancy sweet coffee drinks.
Okay, so what's the alternative?
Well, the suggestions are pretty simple. Water, obviously black coffee, or maybe milk. The main idea is just don't load up on sugar and calories from your drinks when they don't really fill you up or give you much nutrition.
Got it. So nutrition basics, protein priority, cut the processed snacks and excessive extras, watch the sugary drinks. Simple enough. Okay, sleep, nutrition. What about moving? Cardio.
Right, cardio. The guideline mentioned is aiming for about 1 to 3 hours per week.
1 to 3 hours. Okay.
And it makes a neat point depending on your age. If you're still in school, your PE classes probably count towards that, maybe even cover it entirely.
That's handy. Built-in exercise.
Exactly. But for adults or anyone not getting that regular PE, you need to find other ways.
So what are the suggestions then? Beyond just, running on a treadmill.
Well, the easiest starting point suggested is just walking. Like 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Pretty achievable.
Okay, walking's good.
But yeah, it acknowledges that might not be exciting for everyone. So it also strongly suggests looking into sports teams or classes, things like football, basketball.
Things you might actually enjoy.
Precisely. Or combat sports or mentioned boxing, kickboxing, even wrestling. Finding something fun is key to sticking with it.
Absolutely. If it feels like a punishment, you're not going to last. Was there anything it specifically said doesn't quite count, though? I think I remember something. Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, good catch. It mentions jiu-jitsu might not be Consistently active enough to hit that moderate intensity cardio goal for the full hour.
Ah, okay. More technique, less constant movement sometimes.
Exactly. There can be pauses, focus on positions.
Hmm.
The goal for this cardio is more sustained effort, getting your heart rate up into that moderate zone.
And moderate means, like, you can talk, but you're a bit breathless.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You're working, breathing, noticeably harder, but not absolutely flat out. More than a casual walk, less than a sprint.
Got it. So find something enjoyable that gets the heart rate up for a while, 1 to 3 hours a week, okay? That covers the health foundations pretty well. Sleep, protein focus, less junk, smart drinks, and regular cardio. Now let's get to the bit I know lots of people are waiting for, actually building muscle. How does the video suggest starting that?
It starts really simply, which I think is great. The idea is to just focus on three fundamental movement patterns first.
Just 3. Okay, that's not manageable. What are they?
Push, pull, and squat.
Push, pull, squat. Okay.
And for push, it breaks it down a bit more. There are vertical pushes, think overhead pressing, like with dumbbells, or even a handstand push-up if you're advanced, and horizontal pushes, like regular push-ups or bench press.
So when you start, you just pick one push exercise, either vertical or horizontal.
Exactly that. Just one to start. Then you've got pull. Examples given are things like pull-ups or rows, like horizontal rows using your body weight, or bent-over rows with weights, maybe lat pull-downs on a machine. Again, just choose one pulling movement.
Okay, one push, one pull, and the third one's pretty obvious, I guess, the
Sure.
squat.
Yep, the squat. It's fundamental for the lower body. The video mentions variations like pistol squats or lunges later on, but for starting, just a basic bodyweight squat or maybe holding a lightweight goblet squat works so many leg muscles.
Right. Push, pull, squat, choose one exercise for each. Simple. Now, how much do you actually do? Like sets and reps for a beginner?
The recommendation is 3 to 5 sets for each exercise. And for reps, aim for no less than 10 repetitions per set.
At least 10 reps.
Focus on good form above everything else. If you could do more than 10 with good form, that's fine, but don't go below 10 when you're starting. Builds a good base.
Okay, 3 to 5 sets, 10 plus reps, one push, one pull, one squat. How long do you stick with just that?
The suggestion is about a month or 2. Give your body time to adapt.
Makes sense.
Let you really learn the movements, get the form right, build that foundation before adding more stuff.
Right. Don't rush it. So after that month or 2, what's the next step? How do you progress?
You gradually add more exercises. So you might add a second push exercise. So you started with push-ups, horizontal. Maybe you add a light dumbbell shoulder press, vertical.
So you'd have one of each type.
Exactly. Same for pull. Add a second one, maybe one vertical like pull-ups or lat pull-downs, and one horizontal like rows. And then alongside your squat, you add something for the posterior chain.
Posterior chain. What's that?
Basically the muscles on the back of your body.
Right.
Hamstrings, glutes, super important.
Yeah.
So you'd add an exercise like hamstring curls, hip thrusts, Romanian deadlifts.
Yeah.
Maybe even regular deadlifts, but starting very light and focusing intensely on form.
Oh, okay. So you balance out the front and back, so you end up with like 2 pushes, 2 pulls, squats, and a posterior chain move. That sounds much more rounded. How often should you be doing this? Training frequency.
For a beginner, the advice is to train your muscles somewhere between 1 to 3 times per week.
1 to 3 times.
Yeah. And twice a week is often called out as a really good starting point. The key thing is recovery. You need to space those workouts out. Give yourself at least, 2 or 3 days between hitting the same muscles again.
Right. Rest days are when the growth actually happens, isn't it?
Pretty much. Your muscles need time to repair and rebuild.
Okay. And how does the cardio fit in with this strength training? Does it matter if you do cardio before or after weights or on different days, especially when you're starting?
The video suggests not getting too hung up on the timing, especially early on.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, it's not critical for beginners. Do them on the same day, separated by a few hours, or do them on totally different days. Whatever fits your schedule and helps you be consistent is fine at this stage.
Consistency over perfection. I like that. Less to worry about. Now, looking ahead, as you get stronger, maybe add even more exercises. Does the way you structure the week change? You mentioned full body workouts to start.
Yes, absolutely. As you start doing more exercises overall, trying to fit them all into one session gets really long and maybe less effective. So the video mentions you might transition to different training splits, like a push-pull split. 1 day for pushing exercises, 1 for pulling, 1 for legs. Or another common one is an upper-lower split, 1 day for upper body, 1 day for lower body.
Ah, I see. So you dedicate days to specific types of movements or body parts.
Exactly. It lets you put more focus and volume into specific areas as you get more advanced and your total number of exercises increases.
That makes sense. It's a logical progression. Okay, so this is a great roadmap, starting simple, then gradually adding complexity. Let's quickly recap the absolute first steps for someone listening.
Okay, yeah. The big takeaways for starting are: get your health habits in order first. That means aiming for that 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Really focus on getting protein in every meal while cutting back on processed snacks and sugary drinks. Find cardio you enjoy 1 to 3 hours a week. Then for strength, start simple. 1 push exercise, 1 pull, 1 squat. Do 3 to 5 sets of at least 10 reps for each. Aim to do this workout maybe twice a week with rest days in between.
Perfect. It's about nailing those basics, building those habits, not trying to do everything perfectly from day one. Start small, be consistent. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Reflect on all these pieces: the sleep, the nutrition, the cardio, those 3 basic movements. Which one of those feels like the easiest first step for you right now? What's the most manageable thing you could start doing consistently this week? Because even tiny steps done over and over, they really do add up to big changes down the line. So what's your first move going to be? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.